Hey everyone, welcome back to what we are now officially calling the Resale Stack, the video podcast where we dive into the resale industry and the different technology that powers it. I'm Jackie, the CEO and co-founder of Trendful.
And I'm Mailys, co-founder and CTO. And today I'm very excited about the topic we are talking about. It's the core of our resale technology. So our price database and more specifically, our comprehensive pricing API, which we also call sometimes catalog API, because it can do so much more than just pricing.
Yeah, I'm very excited to dive into this topic as well. First and foremost, we built these solutions to solve a major pain point in the resale industry. Accurate, organized, and actionable pricing data. Whether you're a small business looking for fair market values or even a large enterprise building a resale platform, our tools are there designed to help you. So a question we get is what makes Trendful's pricing unique? And I think you can dive into that, Miley.
Yeah, for us, for us, not in resell, pricing isn't just about looking at like past sales. It's about understanding condition-based valuation because in resell, items are one of a kind item. It's like you have a model for a handbag, but it comes in like its own specific condition that usually will grade from excellent to fair. But it's also about understanding not only condition-based valuation, but market trends and accurate product matching. There are so many products out there, and understand which model it is can be sometimes tough. And so that's why we have developed our own price database. So using Python to scrape pre-sale websites and then using natural language processing to organize this data into unique product references.
That sounds really complicated, but that's not just raw data, correct?
Yeah, so we have built really a structured index of about 70,000 product references, categorized by I can never say that word, but it's an
Hierarchical.
important word, hierarchical attributes and variants. So making it easier to search, filter, and extract pricing insights. So for example, for handbags, it comes in brands. You have different brands of handbags, and then you can break them down into models. And each model, for example, if you take a Louis Vuitton Never Full Tote, you can break them down into style. You will have the monogram canvas, the damier, the epi leather. They are all the limited editions out there as well. Um, and then you can break them down into size. Usually they come in GM, PM, and MM size. And so that's what we did for handbags. There are different attributes and variants for watches. But everything that we scraped online, we organized it so it's easy for resale merchants to search and find pricing information.
So yeah, so the two categories that we have are designer handbags and watches, right?
Yeah. And we want to expand to more categories. I think the next one will be sneakers and jewelry, and then we will never stop. I think so.
I know this is like a topic you could talk a lot about, since you're really in it like every day building it. But how are you ensuring accuracy for pricing for items?
So we scrape Google Shopping and different resale merchants' websites every week. And each scraped listing goes through an algorithmic matching process to ensure accuracy. So we will look at every listing, and based on the information that we extract, so the title, the image, the description, even where it comes from, we attribute to each scrape listing a matching score. So when it's a score of 1, we are 100% sure that it's the product that we're matching it to. For example, we scrape a Louis Vuitton Never Full Tote Damier, we'll match it to our index, which will be a Louis Vuitton Never Full Tote Damier, and then identify as well the size. Um, and then that means that when you're searching pricing on our price database or using our catalog API and you search for Louis Vuitton Liverpool, you are pretty sure that all the prices that you are seeing are for Louis Vuitton Liverpool, so damn if that's the style you are looking for. And when we have low scores, we just exclude them from our pricing. So really, we try to be as precise as we can. And so we can be pretty confident that we give you accurate prices.
Great. And I think the best thing about this index of product references that we have built for Trendful is that it can work for businesses of all sizes. Like you mentioned, we have our price database, which is kind of the out of the box solution that, any merchant, big or like very small, can use internally to search fair market values across resale and have like a snapshot on what those fair market values are based on condition and even based on marketplace. But yeah, we also have a solution you can talk about for large scale enterprises as well.
Yeah, so we mentioned we have the price database, but also the catalog API. So that works for large scale enterprises who want to build or scale their own resale operations. So if you want to, for example, build your own resale app for customers to go through a catalog of product and then potentially get some type of instant offers, which is something we already do with our other out of the box solution, our own resale app. But you can use our catalog API to build your own, do your own flow, do your own design. So you can use it to search and discover through millions of historical pricing data points as well, because once you identify a product reference with our catalog API, you will access suggested market estimates that Trendful computed, but also you can have a breakdown by big marketplaces. So you will find market estimates for the Real, Fashion File, Rebag, and then access our whole history of scraping. And it goes like over 4 years now for handbags. So it's a lot of data points. So if you want to make your own analytics, if you wanted to make your own pricing dashboard and own graphs, trends, you could use our catalog API to do that. And so you can really develop complex pricing strategy or even very useful resale products, not only for e-commerce website, but for wholesale companies if you use our catalog API.
I love the flexibility of it, and the fact that there's so many different use cases that you can have with the catalog API. And I know like this is even kind of like another aspect that it's kind of like another video in itself, but we don't only have pricing insights, right? Like we can provide businesses with other important insights into the different product references.
Yeah, definitely. We don't have any pricing, so we provide also popularity indicators. We provide images for each product, so you can use them either as part of your apps to help like a user go through your catalog. But as well, we really um, facilitate discovery in the sense that the index that we have built, as we were mentioning, if I can say again the word, is organized into hierarchical attributes and variants. And so, for example, if you build your own application, either for yourself or for users, you sell it. Um, you will be able to help users like take a model, for example, and discover all the styles that go with it. Or you can easily take a model and find a comparable. Um, and you can provide pricing information, images, popularity. There are like so many different things that you can do with our catalog API. So if you're interested in it, I really invite you to just reach out to us. We have a sandbox and you can uh, test it, but also you can discuss with us what are like all the different use cases that can be done with our catalog API.
Yeah, it's crazy like the amount of things that companies can build with it, like SEO and like description and because we have all of that data as well. Like it's like people think, oh, it's just pricing. And it's like there's so much data behind that as well when you scrape from online. So it's essentially if you need resale insights, Trendful's technology can support you, whether you're running, just a small one person resale business or looking for competitive pricing, or you're a major retailer that's wanting to launch a resale program. And as Miley said, if you're a major retailer, you should really reach out and access our developer sandbox to dive into the catalog API.
Yeah, we have really our pricing API is really different from other pricing API you might find online. First, because it's very specific to resale. We are very like we really have expert pricing in for designer handbags and designer watches. But in addition to providing pricing information, we provide popularity information because you access all of our historical data. As was mentioning Jackie, there's much more that you can much more value that you can derive from our API because we can also provide sales through rates, either in general, but also based on marketplace. You can even get information about your competitors as well, which is, I know, very important for e-commerce websites to know to benchmark a product, but also to know like better understand like how long does this platform takes to sell those kind of bags and how long do we take to sell them, and like that you can also find strategies to improve and place yourself better on the market. And another factor is that we have a very good search functionality. So you can search if you don't know what product reference you are looking into, and um, you don't want into like go into selecting a model, a style, etc. You can also search by text. And our search is very typo tolerant. So if you misspell a word, we will still find um, a result for you. Um, and if we take it further, not only with text search, we also develop Trendful Vision, which allows you to search for products based on images.
I think the image-based search is a big game changer because so many times um, consumers don't know the name of their item, and so if they can just upload images, that's going to be really key to be able to even have submit items to resale businesses. And then on the flip side, to have merchants being able to quickly just look up prices from search as well is just going to be great. And like we always hear from people about Google Lens and how, oh, I can search via Google Lens. I just need to upload a picture. But what those people don't understand is that it's great to find items, but it's not giving you actual like sold prices for those items. And the thing with our search, I know you can speak about this, but it's like they will be able to see actual sold prices, which I think is very important on the market.
Yeah, we don't base our estimates on active listings. We base them on sold prices, and you have access to like the whole historic with the API. And so, yeah, we are very different. Google Lens is a great tool to kind of discover item, maybe try to identify your product, but you will still need to sort through the information. And with Trendful, if you upload an image, we will find you like the best match for it and rank it by confidence level. Usually the first match is the correct one, obviously, because we are mostly confident in it. And then when you click on that product, you will get fair market estimates, fair market values that are based on sold prices, and then you will get the history. And you can also get data samples of active listings. So you get what you can see in Google Lens, but more curated for like it's selected, it's the specific product you are looking for, and then more pricing insights. So we like provide, yeah, definitely much more value.
Yeah, because having the sold price as a resale merchant is far more important than having a listing price. Because so often in the resale industry, you will list an item at a certain price for weeks and weeks. And then depending on the item, you may like lower the price, you may raise the price. So the actual price in which it actually sells and which other merchants could potentially sell it at is the sold price, not the listing price. So it's very
Yeah,
important. Yeah, and it's
and
very powerful.
when we scrape, we also take into consideration discounts, which is
Mhm.
actually something because you will have the shown price maybe will be 1500, but then they give you a 20% discount, and that's what the customer is using to purchase the item. And so that's really like what the customer accepted to pay for that item.
Yes.
And so that definitely impact like your fair market values. And so we take that into consideration into our pricing.
Yeah. Um, I think that's really great. And also the fact that our pricing is condition based. Like if a pre-owned handbag is excellent condition, it won't have the same resale value as one in fair condition. And our database and catalog API take that into consideration by having the different pricing tiers based on conditions. So you have excellent, great, good, and fair, ensuring that the resale values that you're seeing are based on what the item's condition actually is and not just like an average price.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you take a product that has across all conditions, average resale value of $1,000, you're gonna have usually, it depends on each product actually, but usually it's around a $500 to $600 difference between the excellent condition and the fair condition. So it's really important to get this, yeah, condition-based valuation.
Yeah, and that's so important. It goes part into your matching, right, as well, because you collect information, the product reference, you collect like naming convention, but you also like collect information about condition as well within the product reference, right?
Yes, we collect condition information, so that's what also you can access when you get our pricing history. But we take into consideration those conditions when we can have them to compute our prices.
Mhm. And I think you can talk a little bit about how many like uh, sources we have that you scrape and how the kind of like the differences maybe and like a peer-to-peer source versus like an auction source or a managed marketplace and how that factors into pricing.
Yes, we don't only, when we compute estimates with algorithms, we don't only do an average. So the reason is we scrape data from over 300 resale vendors. So we cover a lot of vendors, just even for handbags and watches. So it's like just for even in some ways limited categories, we cover a lot of vendors, and we it includes managed marketplaces, big and small. So we'll have the real fashion file, and then we would have smaller resale vendors, and we have as well peer-to-peer marketplaces where anyone can list their item, and usually you see a difference between managed and peer-to-peer marketplaces because managed marketplaces are more, they have more consistent pricing across the same like product reference, but on a peer-to-peer marketplace it varies
Yeah.
from like $1,000, $1,500. It's a lot all over the place. So with our algorithm, we will give a bigger weight to data points coming from managed marketplaces than peer-to-peer marketplaces. And as well, we'll give bigger weight to bigger platforms that really drive also the market than like smaller players that don't have as much drive in the pricing.
Actually goes into a thought that I have for like real world impact, like how can this API help other businesses? And like there's so many use cases. But one I just thought of is how there isn't transparency on the market for resale prices. And so you have peer-to-peer marketplaces that have individuals like consumers, like you and me, going to price their item and they don't know what to price their item. So they sometimes price it like very outlandishly, like high, because like they think like this is my item, I've barely used it, it deserves to be this higher price. But when in actuality, that's not the case, and they've priced it too high on the market, but they don't know that. And so to have peer-to-peer marketplaces using this API to give pricing insights to their users would be a game changer, I think, on the market as well, and a use case for our API.
Yeah, definitely, because they can give like even a smaller range to a customer to tell them this is how you can list your item and make sure you will sell it within the months. Like there is other information they can get pricing indicators, but also like, oh, if you add $50 to the price, you might be able to sell it, but it's gonna take you 3 weeks more. Like, are
Yeah,
you willing to wait that long?
yeah, you could have like a risk. Like, are you willing to take this risk and sell it maybe in this amount of time, or do you want to sell to price it a bit more, like a bit lower or something to sell faster? So it just that would be great insight that these marketplaces could provide their users. And it's a bit crazy to me that um, they don't have these insights for people. That kind of goes further into it. Another use case that we like to talk about is uh, our API helping businesses power their resale platforms. But for example, the catalog API, one of our clients is a large scale department store, and they use the API to help customers, with discoverability, finding the item that they want to sell. It's kind of like guided through for them and eventually leads them to an instant price. You can talk a bit about that as well.
Yeah, so if you are any type of business and you want to start your own resale business, either by acquiring like designer luxury brands, um, or doing something else, you can use our catalog API to help guide the customers that are gonna go onto your own app, find a product reference. So with our catalog API, you will be able to create an application where either like the customer will be able to discover through the different brands, then the model, then the style. You can choose to do a different flow if you think that it's more relevant to your customer base or like your specific situation. Or where like they will discover styles first and then model. It's still flexible. And then when going through that application, when customer can easily identify their own product like precisely. And so, for example, I always take this example: identify a Louis Vuitton never full tote damier in size MM. You will be able to give them a precise offer, because then once they discover their product reference, they will be able to tell you, okay, it's in excellent, great, good, and fair condition. You can help them build an application that help them determine their condition, but then you can find what's the fair market value for that condition and product reference, thanks to then the pricing information that we have available through our API. So oh, it sells in excellent condition for $1,500 on the market. I only want for a buyout to offer 50%. Then you will show on your $750 to the customer. So that's something that you can build entirely using our catalog API. And actually, we have already large scale department store that are using it to power their own applications.
Yeah, and that's just the beginning. I think you mentioned like we want to expand into new categories, and that's going to be capable with using more AI to automatically identify and enrich product references as the resale market evolves. And so I know you mentioned sneakers and then jewelry next potentially. But just to start wrapping things up, because I know we could talk about this topic forever, but it makes me think how there really isn't another pricing solution out there like that for resale, for the resale industry. I know we've looked very intensely at that to see if there's something else out there, but there really isn't, that's providing resale merchants and also potentially consumers with pricing transparency and being able to provide these curated insights to items.
There is not, we have tried other database because we always want to know what's out there and try to do better, obviously. And there is no price database that cover designer handbags. I've never found one. Or like, it is not, they are not expert in this pricing. It's like you will find a very poor history of data. They don't provide you the data right away. Like they don't provide you fair market estimates. They might provide you data points, raw data points, but then you have to like make the analysis yourself and you don't have enough history to make it. So it is, to me, it is useless. For a merchant, it's like better go on Google than using that price database because you have to find more value than just using Google and searching yourself. Um, so no, like we have never found like a product like Trendful. Same, there is no API for companies to build their own thing on top of that. Like only Trendful provide an API.
Yeah. I think that's just great. And it makes people that realize that resale pricing isn't just about numbers. It's about structured, accurate, and usable data. Big key on usable data. And for someone that's just starting out in the resale industry, or even people with a team, we have the price database, which is an easy out of the box solution for merchants to use. While we also have our pricing API that Mailys has mentioned that gives enterprises powerful tools to scale or even start the resale operation. And I know we're continuing to improve it. And yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I could keep talking.
Yeah, we can keep talking. Yeah, we will keep you posted, but Trendful plans to exploit and use AI to be able to add new categories much faster than we were doing it before. And so just follow us because there will be much more resale pricing information for many more items that will come this year and in the next year after that.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you want to learn more about the price database or the API, you can check out our website, trendful.com, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram as well. I'll put all of that information in our YouTube description below, or you can just reach out directly to us. See you next time on the Resale Stack. Bye.
Bye.